Hello, everyone. We're starting, and welcome to.
Oh.
Uh,
Welcome to a show.
Welcome to episode 0, session 0 of our newest campaign, Gracefall, with the lovely players of Task Force Unlikely, as Task Force Unlikely has concluded.
X Task Force Unlikely.
X Task Force Unlikely. ETFU.
Now we're just Task Force Likely.
Yeah. Thank you, Marty and Jay, for subscribing as always. Though, as Marty pointed out, subscribed Monday, so I don't know why we're getting another. But congratulations!
I think if you're away for long enough and it hits the date a couple times, it'll like queue them.
Oh, okay.
Or not, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, like, I don't understand any of Twitch.
Twitch barely understands Twitch at this point.
So, so we're going to start a new campaign. Very serious. Someone let me know that I am, in fact, coming through. We're going to start a new campaign.
Andy, I have a skeleton head to go with your skelly hands.
Oh man.
Are you gonna do like a Megazord? Like we all get different parts of a skeleton.
I'll send someone a rib cage.
I could use a xylophone.
Yeah.
Not sure what for, but I could use one.
Let me put these down. Let me do a little brief overview of.
Like Exodia.
Yes, we can. All the parts of the Skelly Man. I keep trying to touch this. This is not a touch screen. Okay.
I mean, you can still touch it.
I can. It's just not doing anything. Let me do a quick overview of the campaign setting, and then we're going to start to talk about characters and stuff you all would like to see from this campaign, stuff you want to add, make clear, stuff you don't want to see, anything like that. So Gracefall is a I haven't figured out a good way to kind of concisely describe it yet. So basically there is a moon that is a full city. It's a word I can never pronounce.
Victorian Borderlands.
Victorian Borderlands is pretty good.
I mean, Treasure Planet.
Yeah, Treasure Planet is another good
better
way.
than
Treasure Planet plus
Victorian
Coruscant. So there's a moon that's all a big city. They've started to run out of resources, but have developed basically a kind of spaceship that will take them down to the planet below, which is full of dangerous monsters, terrain, challenges of that sort, but has a lot of resources. So the
secret ruins.
Perhaps some ruins. There are no sapient life forms on the planet below.
That we know.
That I will make it clear, there are none. There may have been.
Because I talked about it a little bit.
This
before.
Is not a colonialism simulator.
Gotcha.
There may have been, in the ancient past, much like Wyan Yoth looked a lot different, the moon, there may have been previous civilizations that were wiped out by dinosaurs or the Titans or something like that, but there are no current sapient species on there. So that's the roughly, as kind of mentioned, Victorian steampunk technology. There are guns, there's lots of magic, little magic items, kind of do a lot of things that technology would do, but it is often kind of shelled in a technology-esque advance. Okay. Any questions before we start talking about other stuff?
I do have one.
Sure.
I think it was mentioned in the little campaign document you sent to us that like apparently it's so hard to get resources off planet because like the orbit of the moon around the planet is like really long and it has a really short window and there's not a lot of fuel going around.
Yes.
I'm wondering if maybe we could ease back on that sort of.
Okay.
So I think in the campaign document you said how do they get off planet or with all their resources? And it's like in brackets, it's like make more fuel, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. I'm like, and I was like, that might be a little hard for us.
No.
Because like,
we need to calculate orbital trajectories and launch windows on stream.
Yeah. You're not all rocket scientists? I've been misled.
if you want to go in universe
Hang
about
on, let me
this,
just
it's
pull up
like,
my PhD.
like if you think about it like business wise, I don't see why a savvy business person would allow people to go off planet without a way of getting their goods back to them.
Sure. Yeah, no, so to answer that question, yeah, it could be a little easier to go back and forth. Maybe the fuel isn't the problem. I don't want it to be part of what I was thinking for this. And if nobody likes this, obviously, then we'll just shoot it down. But I want there to be some frontier element to it where it is exploration and you can't just quickly resupply, go home. Like, it's not a thing where you just travel back and forth. You long rest, you go back to the front of the dungeon, you come back. I do want there to be some kind of frontier struggle about it. If that's not appealing.
Yeah, and I think...
Go ahead.
Yeah, because I think that the idea of it being like, oh, it's a super dangerous place with monsters popping out, and then the 14-day wait cycle, you gotta wait for it. I think adding fuel to that, like, you have to make your own fuel, is a little bit of an overkill.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. I
think doing that every time, yes, but I think with a lot of the early ones would be more like we go about establishing a base camp and setting up sort of the infrastructure. So we worry about making fuel once, and then we just have infrastructure on planet that we don't have.
I think that's a good way to look at it. And
okay,
for sure, I do want to. There will be base building and kind of allocating resources.
In that case, I am kind of now leaning towards one character that will be very, very useful for that exact thing.
Okay. But yeah, so is that more? Do you think that's more fair, Liz? Of once you get there, get the base, you build the magical generator or whatever, the oil digging platform, whatever kind of magic-y thing will decide as full residuum, which is from 4th edition, kind of thing, and then you can more easily travel back and forth. But it will still be maybe once every 2 weeks is an optimal time to travel.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Okay.
I was just a little bit. I assumed like all the question marks next to it.
Yeah, well, that probably meant I wasn't sold on it necessarily. So yeah, I'm easily talked out of it. And we can talk about anything on here that people don't like or question.
Well, a weird example that I don't know if anyone else is going to pick up on is the way I thought about it is Monster Hunter World. The entire premise of that game is you are going to a new world and you go to an established base camp, basically. You're a 5th Expeditionary Fleet. You go there, all of the previous fleets have set up what is at this point essentially a city in where they've landed. So early on would be us going and setting up that sort of style of base.
Yeah, but the less generous portion of me is like, well, Andy also said that the place is like popping off with monsters and all kinds of weirdness. It's like, are we going to be able to stick around long enough to establish a base camp?
part
Time
of
will
the
tell.
danger.
That might be part of the challenge of it, yeah.
I like the survival element personally, but I understand. The one thing is like I like the idea that we can't just zip back easily from the moon to the base, from the moon to the base whenever we want. I think maybe there should be some way, or like some transport system for resources and such, but I guess we might have to get that up and running ourselves once we touch down on the planet.
Well, we also have to consider the fact that if this is early on in the resource gathering process, in order to establish a stable way of getting back and forth to the planet, you have to go there in the first place. So this could be like the very first. We go there, and once we get there, we figure out how to get back.
And we wouldn't be getting sent without some resources anyway. Like, you don't send people with nothing and expect them to succeed, especially if it's a big deal.
Right. Yeah,
You're going to try to set them up for success as best you can.
Yeah, you're going to have base building supplies and, lots of potable water and MREs and stuff like that.
You mean you're not like Elon Musk who's just going to send a bunch of random ass people into space?
No, we're gonna
How
keep our
much are you
water.
paying me for it?
He wants to go to space so bad, we can load him in a cannon and get him to
Just-
space. I'm all for that.
I'm just saying, maybe tax
coming
these
back.
billionaires who keep coming back.
Conveniently forget how to get it back. That'll be fine.
Yeah. Or he has to, we
Just
charge
swim back.
of just a couple percentage on his, net worth tax to come in. 15-20%. I think that's perfectly fair.
Put a pay gate on re-entering the atmosphere.
Can't be sending all
It's
these
like
billionaires
there's
to
a
space.
$10
Come back.
customs fee to leave Canada, but not to enter Canada. It's like that, but like with space.
Yeah, and it's just a couple $1 billion.
I like that idea.
Astronauts.
Don't make it a couple make it a high percentage of net worth.
It's like you have to donate at least 20% of your net worth to solve climate change and 60% to anything else you'd like.
Yeah, we'll be generous. I
No, we won't.
like this. Okay,
We'll be as generous as you were. How about that?
There we go.
you can't give away the game too early. I like the idea of being one of the earlier expeditions, if not the first, one of the first.
I do
Especially
also
with
like Marty's question of competing corporate interests.
Ooh.
Like, we might be one of the first, but we probably aren't the only ones trying this.
Like the US in the space race.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
So is that something you all are interested in?
That
Yeah.
rival corporations and that kind of intrigue element, that just adds like another layer of fun to it for me.
Oh, definitely.
Give us a Gary. Give us an entire other group that tells us they will smell us later.
It's like two elementary schools on a field trip. They see each other.
Riding on the bus, staring at each other on the highway the entire time.
We're going to museum
I
the
once went
hell
on
out
a-
of this field trip.
I once went on an orchestra field trip when I was in middle school. We saw another middle school that had the same t-shirts design as we did. It was on site.
Wow.
We're gonna field trip so much better than you guys
Yeah.
field trip.
Only be more awkward
Don't
if,
even know how that's possible, but we're gonna do it.
if the band
I'm gonna play
teacher...
the hell out of hot cross buns. You don't even know.
I like to imagine the band teachers picked up the shirts at the same time and just like kind of awkwardly stared at each other. Oh.
I mean, probably not. They probably had a conversation. They're colleagues.
Yes. Yeah, you
They
went
see
with the
each
musical
other at
notes.
All your
Conferences.
local band directors know each other. I'm telling you that now.
Um,
They probably all play in a band together.
Okay. So then,
The Burger's King. Plural. So much better than that guy that only has that one burger.
yeah,
We have
king of a
multiple.
burger. Okay, so Would then you all want to work for the same company?
I feel like that's almost a prerequisite if we're going to be in a party together.
Yes and no, because if
One
we're
of us could
going with corporate, then it could be several companies in one joint
Okay.
corporate venture.
Crazy idea. What if one of us owns the company?
I mean, then we don't have to worry about money ever.
Yeah.
But like a small independent operation. I'm not talking about like.
You don't want the Jeff Bezos. There's a Jeff Bezos.
I'm not talking about Jeff Bezos. Like we're like an upstart, basically.
So we're trying to get bought by the Jeff Bezos.
You're gonna get that
That's what I
sweet
was
corporate
thinking.
Getting
buyout.
bought out by the Jeff Bezos.
No. That's not the corporate dream anymore. The corporate dream is being bought by the bigger fish. No one wants to survive long enough to be the biggest fish because you will die.
Nah, let EA handle this.
Okay, so that idea's out, I guess.
Another idea
How much of
could
this stream
be,
just dissolves into us being angry at capitalism?
I mean, it could.
Look.
I
I think this is going to be a pretty
rant.
poignant
Hey,
and
first
slicing.
rule of D&D and sci-fi is no politics. There has never been
Everything
politics
is
in either of
political.
those things ever.
If you believe something is not political, then it merely agrees with your current politics.
Sounds political. I
Yes.
don't wanna hear it.
cannot separate
Too
the
bad.
art from the artist. Everything is political. And I intend to put some heavy anti-capitalist overtones on this, whether you like it or not.
I'd like it. I want that.
I think this last 15 months has kind of turned everyone against it, so
It's hard to root for it.
I mean, a party is essentially a union. If we get right down to brass tacks.
that
That could be
makes
your-
me lean towards a different character.
Have I mentioned I'm jealous? Yes. Yes, my friend, you have.
we could try and do TFU, and the U stands for Union. Try and
Task Force Union.
Task Force Union. That's a little overkill, but
Transplanetary Foundation Union.
For 2069.
You know what? Screw it. Retcon, that's what Navira does for the rest of her life. She just unionizes all the, devils.
Oh, that's another layer of bureaucracy. They'd love that.
okay. Okay, hold on. Let me write some stuff down. Okay, so okay.
No, Star Wars
Wait.
was earlier this week, Marty. No
Yeah.
trade federations.
Okay. I got so many questions buzzing around in my head. Okay. Oh, so what I wanted to say earlier was, yeah, so if you weren't all from the same company, you could, have the same parent company and be like, oh, yeah, I'm in this, subdivision company. We deal with, finding minerals or something like that, so on and so forth. The other thing, one of you could work for, the government and be basically a narc. You could be, the government observer.
You play a mid-level bureaucrat.
Yeah, you just play a mid-level bureaucrat who somehow gets strapped into a spaceship, and you're like, pardon me, my paperwork.
Look, just because I'm good at limboing.
I brought my lint roller. Do you think this will be necessary?
Yeah, or as Marty said, yeah, lint roller. As Marty in chat says, you could a Pinkerton style, you're just a
God.
government.
Yep. There's one.
There's
there we
one.
go.
Okay, look, that wasn't
There you
Discord. That was the Pinkertons.
Oh no, we did say something slightly negative about them. They may sue us. Hold on a second. Where's tech difficulties?
Look, you're not allowed to say.
We're back. Yeah, the Pinkertons are here to bust the union you're about to form. Okay. Okay, so far, you're all probably from the same company, maybe with a couple interlopers of some kind. We're starting at level 3. You're one of, if not the first, drop ships down. Anything else before we start talking about characters?
One of the things that could tie into characters, and this kind of goes back to the company thing, is it could be like a multi-business venture. Like there are several corporations that team up and they each send a representative down with specific goals in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Was another thought.
I like that. That works too. For sure. Yeah.
Works.
Like one is doing
Still-
scientific research, one is resource gathering, one is there specifically to set up infrastructure and like interplanetary travel between the moon and the planet.
I like that because that could still work with the idea of separate companies with a parent company on top of them.
Like, we're a conglomerate.
Yeah. It's just like, we are the company that makes all of your this. It's like, we are the Coke of this universe. Coke makes your favorite drink. Coke or Pepsi. You have no choice.
No, it's not okay if I have Pepsi. Take it back. Pardon me.
No, because neither Coke nor Pepsi are my favorite cola. Thank you.
In the South, they're the same thing.
It's so.
Heard someone
confusing.
call sweet tea Coke once.
What? Like, I get
don't know.
that sweet tea probably actually has more sugar in it, but what?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's just all soft drinks Coke.
Coke? Yep.
So, conglomerate.
Gotta move on before I get too stuck on it.
It's breaking my brain a little bit. Okay.
What, like getting sidetracked? We've never done that before.
Never.
You also see like the big ass canisters of sweet tea they have at every single restaurant down here.
Hell yes.
I believe it.
Gimme.
So, are we gonna do characters?
One of you has to play sentient sweet tea. I hope that's cool.
That's just Whataburger, man. I don't know what you're trying to say.
One of you has to be a character named Whataburger. First name Whata, last name Burger.
Like stepping into a Whataburger is what CT tastes like.
Okay.
If you couldn't tell, I'm from Texas.
It's like, we got an In-N-Out recently here where I live, and like, I don't give a shit. But like, if we had gotten a Whataburger, then I would have.
Yeah, we don't get
They
it.
both taste the same to me. I don't really care.
Yeah, it's mid-tier burgers. You know what you're getting.
Exactly.
Yes, a good water burger. Like my burger extra wet.
Look, we call it water. We call Italian ice water ice. Like it doesn't. I don't know. We call things water. Whatever. It doesn't have to make sense. It's weird.
Fight over which gas station's the best.
It's Wawa. Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to confront anyone.
I just wish we had gas stations worth fighting over. Is all.
I'm not dissing Wawa, but I have to tell you, walking into a Buc-ee's is an experience.
Yeah, I've seen.
Reality is altered there.
Yeah, it's.
What are these Yankees
Buc-ee's
talking
also
about?
a truck stop, though.
I'm not a fucking Yankee. You take that back.
Okay.
They're all Yankees to me.
Anything south of the Canadian border.
Yeah, only two of us are above the
Technically, yes.
Mason-Dixon, I
Anything
think.
south of Canada,
True.
north of Mexico.
Yankee.
Okay. The important thing is Dungeons and Dragons.
Can we get
What?
fantasy regional gas stations?
Yes. Oh man, yes.
Wars.
This will be my only contribution, and I can die happy.
Well, we have to have at least one Beholder Ray's pizza.
See, it's a universal. It's a multiversal franchise.
I think all of our dumb franchise ideas need to come in
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, this
absolutely.
feels like if we're gonna use them, this is where we use them.
Just the first building on the planet. It's a McDonald's, basically. Okay.
Across the street from it is the Tank Torms Day.
They don't even have that god here.
Doesn't matter.
We don't have France, and people still say champagne.
Okay.
It's only a Swift turn if it comes out of Switzerland. Otherwise, it's sparkling CNC work.
So characters.
So, characters. Marty really liked that in chat, Jay. Okay. Jay for sure has a character.
Yes.
So why don't we start with Jay?
Great character.
I am going to be playing Isabel again, and her ridiculously long, beautiful name that I love.
Say the
Isabel,
whole
if you
name.
have not seen her, I think was last on Stream Drop Distance 2 was, I think, her most recent appearance.
I believe so.
Before that was just on Silent Nights,
Mhm.
which was, I think, our first holiday series of episodes.
That was
we
really
did.
fun.
I believe it was our first holiday series.
Yeah, it was our first winter holiday stuff we did.
So a little different than the last time we saw her. She'll be de-leveled slightly, but
Yeah, lost all her wizard levels because magic works a little differently here. And yes, I could just go to a school again, but I'd like to learn it again. Thank you. I figured it out last time. I can figure it out again. Also, probably ended up there because she was trying to get back to, is it Keldon Town? Am I pronouncing it right?
Mhm.
Because she promised totally legally distinct and original character Fragile Fred a mobility aid, and she wanted to make good on that promise.
okay, perfect.
Orc doesn't know where she is.
Ended up in a crater for some reason, and is not sure why.
Really gross crater too. It's like half full of water.
Yeah.
Water is on fire.
Yeah, only a little bit.
Only a bit
Yeah,
on
it's a little
fire.
And you would say it's like it moves at a good, sludge rate. It's turgid.
I hit it like a non-Newtonian liquid. I appeared above the surface of the water, smacked into it, and was able to run to the shore.
If you move fast enough, you can get across. You don't have to move that fast.
Featherfall helped.
Until you forgot how to use Featherfall.
Nope, no, that one's an artificial spell.
That's good. That makes a lot of sense. You build something to fly in, and you fall out of it. Okay. So she's a 3rd level artificer, and artillerist. That's right?
Artillerist. Because gunsmith is no more.
And
Rest in peace, gunsmith.
that's the one that
I still have a gun.
You still have a gun. Guns are a thing in this setting. That's the one where you build like little turrets, right?
Yes.
Okay. Very Borderlands.
They've yet to name my little turret, but there they are.
Go for the eyes.
Built on a sentry.
Anything else you would like to add?
No, because I imagine we'll get more into details when we have more characters.
Okay, perfect.
We start having them play off each other.
Yes. Okay.
Just like Goblin that was raised by a noble dwarven family finds themselves here.
We all like Isabel. We all know.
Just
Isabel.
mentioned it.
Yes,
Marty.
just mentioned it.
I realized I hadn't, so
Yes.
I did.
And Marty mentioned this in chat earlier. All of the D&D races are present on the planet. Some of them are older than others. Sometimes they work a little different. Elves don't live in like infinity time. Eladrin live very long. Non-Eladrin elves live like twice the length of humans. And then there are no like stereotypically evil races. Not that we ever really play with that too much.
Because it's dumb and
It
bad
is
and
dumb,
holds the setting
yeah.
back.
Why would they all be one thing?
And why do they do it every time?
Because people are lazy in building fantasy worlds and just want to crunch numbers.
Yeah,
That's I mean, you said it, not me.
it's just less fun. Okay. Who would like to go next? Mira.
So yeah, I came into this with a character that is mostly fully formed at this point.
Okay.
So right now, my character is Claire. She is a level 3 Warforged Necromancer.
Ooh.
And so about 2 years ago, she woke up, just came into existence, with the memories and personality, basically the brain and soul of this necromancer wizard who had spent her life researching life extension and immortality. And her culminating project was Claire, was to copy her mind and soul and put it in this Warforged so that she could live forever. And now that necromancer has disappeared, Claire doesn't know where she is. When she woke up, she was gone. And because she's only a copy of the mind and soul of when Claire copied it, or when the original necromancer copied it, she only has memories up until that point. So now she's having a perpetual identity crisis of, am I this necromancer because I am an exact copy of her, or am I someone else? Am I someone new? Am I someone different? Who knows? I've been here. I'm 2 years old.
I love her immediately.
Yeah.
Also,
And-
same.
Freaking rad.
Also,
Yeah.
pretty much clockwork from the Sly Raccoon series games, but not powered by hate, so rad.
Yeah, I stole the idea. I was inspired by the Soma games, which sent me into an existential crisis. I want to make it very clear with this character, however, that this is not is she really human, or like is she really a person? Because to me that feels like gets too much into like gross ableist transphobic metaphors, and that is not what I want. It's very much like she is a person, just who is she
Who
now?
is that person?
Yeah. Are we our memories, or are we like what we are experiencing? That kind of existentialist question.
And is it also like, yeah, is a copy is not the same thing as the original.
Yeah.
But that doesn't, yeah, okay. I think we're on the same page. Okay. Sad
It's
robot.
not,
How
it's
much
not like it's not
divergence.
am I a person, it's who am I?
Yeah.
Like what
Yeah.
person am I?
Exactly.
Which I think is a little more interesting because it's a little more
Mhm.
detailed.
Yeah, that's great. Everything's great. I love everything so far. Okay.
Had at least 2 of us at Robot.
Yeah, I'm not going to be a hard pitch from Warforged. Okay.
Yeah, and
I
I
love
really like. I was reading the campaign Bible, and very much how Warforged were kind of created to explore the planet, and so I think she'll be very useful in that she does not have to eat, and she barely has to sleep. So send her down.
Like, it's sort of like the Exo from Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
It's a race of robot people. Well, they're not a race, but they're a type of robot people that are just human. They're just also robots.
I don't think
Except we're not exactly sure how and why they were built, because Destiny lore is weird. I don't know it very well.
Destiny lore is weird. It will surprise no one that they were my favorite, and that's who I picked to be all of my player characters.
Sort of same.
Yeah.
The one I picked for my main, but I wanted the other two to be the other ones just because.
Yeah, they were also cool, but I get to be a robot, and they're like iconic characters voiced by Nathan Fillion. Okay, perfect.
Nathan Fillion played Nathan
I'm
Fillion.
trying very hard. I have a
No.
drawing of like all of my characters that I wanted to play for this one. I can't find it.
It's okay. You'll find it after stream and post it to Discord.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we have an artillerist and a necromancer. I've never seen a necromancer played before. I'm excited to see that.
Me too.
So, Liz or Dan?
We have no healing and no hit points.
Liz, would you like to go first?
I guess so, because I have a character who may possibly be a healer.
Okay.
If Andy will let me take the optional class features option on D&D Beyond.
Yeah.
Turn that on. Boop. So, I had two characters that I think I was narrowing them down as people were talking. I have, like, an elf, Order of the Scribes wizard, or, I'm guessing, which might be more useful, a wildfire druid.
Oh.
Like, I was thinking, like, she would essentially be, like, a park ranger on her first day.
Oh, I'm so into that.
We don't have a park yet, but we know it will need to be ranged.
Yeah.
She knows so much about this planet that people have very small, like the little bit that people, like the little pamphlet someone's brought back to be like, oh, this is what you should look out for. She knows that pamphlet by heart. Dang it.
Yeah, it's only 2 sentences in an infographic, but damn it, I know it.
The whole back's an ad for something else, but you know.
I love that.
Yeah, that's great too. So, yeah, I mean, I don't remember what Order of the Scribe wizards do, but if you wanted to do that,
like
one,
they have a big book where it's like you get like all these spells. I was thinking Wildfire Druid is a little more useful to us since it's like partially damage, partial healer.
Okay, yeah.
Plus they got a little companion.
Love companions.
And you said elf?
For my druid, I was thinking more gnome.
No?
So,
okay. Perfect.
I mean, all druids get cure wounds and such.
Give me
like
someone
that.
shorter than me.
But if I take the optional class features, I can get the expanded spell list, which gives me Revivify. Druids can't get
I
Revivify.
also technically do get
Right.
Cure Light Wounds, but I don't ever see Isabel preparing it.
Yeah, but because I think the only resurrection spell druids got before the optional rules was reincarnate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Revivify is
gotta
better.
get those optional rules.
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
Oh, that's great.
So we have
I have
healer,
narrowed
tank,
it down.
flamethrower.
I have narrowed it down. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, my character is basically like fire and somewhat heals.
We will get along.
You are. I don't remember who the fire one at the Captain Planet was, but
It was the
Oh,
hot-headed
Wheeler.
American.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name, though. It's Blaze
He was
or
Joey Wheeler.
Rick or... No, isn't Joey Wheeler from Yu-Gi-Oh? Is
You're
his name
right.
also Joey
It was
Wheeler?
something.
No, I think it is
Now it's
Wheeler.
bothering me.
I think his first name's Wheeler.
like Wheeler Blaze or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Captain Planet Fireboy.
Captain Planet and the Planeteers.
Anyways, I
It is-
really like this character too. I like the eager park ranger.
His name is James Wheeler.
Was close.
You were close.
And if I pick Forest Gnome, I can get talk to small beasts, so I could talk
Oh,
to
yes.
everybody.
Talk to squirrels.
Wonderful.
Oh, and we optional lineage rules. You all can use those. Pick different proficiencies and ability score increases if you want to. You don't have to. And optional class roles as established by Liz. Okay. Perfect. And good on time. Dan. Pardon me. Dan.
So I have narrowed it down to 3 characters. One of them is an arcane trickster rogue, or a thief rogue. A rogue who is basically just an incredibly greedy individual trying to unscrupulously, basically trying to like rob the ruins that may or may not be on the planet. Which I don't know if I'm super excited about, because the original, like when I originally planned this character, was for a different campaign, and I don't know how well they really fit with this one. My other 2 characters are both Warforged, so I hope I'm not stepping on any toes. One of them is very much like a frontier person, like is a doctor, but for Warforged. His name is Dr. Clangley Bell. I see that.
That's a good name. I like it.
He is an armor artificer who fights by punching things. Who would have thought that I would play an artificer who punches things?
Does he also throw acid?
He can, I think. That is one of the spells he gets. Basically, he is very much a Warforged designed for the original Warforged purpose. He is sort of not actually meant to be leader, but like the de facto leader of kind of the Warforged workers who are being sent down to the planet. Basically a respected member of the quote-unquote Warforged community to the extent that it exists. And he is very much a frontier person. Like he wants to build up sort of the bases and sort of create a thriving city on the surface. The other character is basically Wally, where it is an old automaton that was left behind by whatever precursor no longer exists on the planet's surface, and has just been going about their programming, building structures for centuries, millennia, however long, or has been recently been reactivated by a recent expedition. The second one is a Rune Master fighter, and sort of I'm planning on, like, as they discover more and more about who built him, he's gonna like kind of develop, ways to harness their old kind of power. The other is, like I said, the artificer. I think it's somewhat lore dependent. Either way, I'd be playing sort of a tank role.
Okay. Anybody have any thoughts on narrowing that down?
Both those options are very good.
Yeah, that's why I'm having a tough time picking.
I do have to say... Oh, go ahead, Jay.
Okay. The only thing with picking the second one is for at least the first episode, you might not be there for much of it if we have to go and find you. Which isn't necessarily bad, but it is a thing to consider. Because I spent the first, 2 episodes of Galaxy and Revolt in a box, so...
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's fine, it was great.
I don't have an issue with that. The one thing about playing Steingraber, which is the name of the technically Steingraver Unit 119, but like whatever. Is that at least at the start of the campaign, there's not going to be a whole lot he can do aside from combat and encyclopedia. Those are like his two modes, basically.
But if he's literally like the world's first automaton and he's ancient, his encyclopedia is going to be out of date.
It's true. But it's an encyclopedic knowledge of the planet that he's on. Not quite an encyclopedia. Like his obviously his memory is somewhat corrupted because he's been dormant for so long.
Yeah,
but I understand.
Go ahead.
I understand if you don't want to have a creature who has lived on the planet to give it more like mystique.
I would prefer not that. Yeah,
that is acceptable
now,
in that case. Sorry, what?
Yeah, I'm not saying you can't do that, but if for instance you were like a prototype who was launched to the planet however long ago and you malfunctioned, you never worked when you landed. You're a rover basically. They all land, they find you and fix you, and now you can do the thing you were set out to do. I'm okay with that, but yeah, I don't. Having someone, I don't. Yeah, like you said, I don't want it to kind of ruin the exploration feel of this, the newness.
Now he wouldn't really know anything because he's like dormant, reactivated, or has basically just been following programming because he hasn't had any other input to like learn discrete things. But in that case, I think it might be better to play Clangley. One, because I've already got a voice for him, and it's really, really great. And two, he has literally a bell on his chest that rings before he starts punching stuff. So really, it's like ding ding, and then he just lays into something.
Ding ding.
Basically. Plus, that could also be Clangley, I would imagine, is a slightly older Warforged, so that would also lead to some interesting opportunities with Claire.
Oh, I just also imagined him with it was from a series of Gundam, where one of the robots essentially had, knuckle dusters that retracted and folded in, and it fought by punching.
That's a feature of the Armor Artificer.
Yes.
Is you have fists that extend and deal sonic damage. So I think I'm going to go with Dr. Clangley Bell.
Okay.
Steingraver might work more with a more conventional exploration campaign. I think for this particular type, it's a little. Yeah, I understand why you don't want to spoil the mystique. And yes, Clangley is a very strong advocate for his sort of fellow Warforged workers. He doesn't quite he thinks that they're thought of as being maybe a little too disposable. And hence why him being a doctor for Warforged is not super conventional.
Okay. Mira, is there anything you want to talk about Warforged to Warforged? Compare notes or anything?
I do like the idea of having two Warforged, especially considering that Claire was not built for the purpose of planet exploration, but that's kind of what she's being sent to do, de facto, her being a Warforged. And I think that's going to cause some identity crisis. Just adding on to the pile. So I think having someone there who is an advocate for Warforged in the traditional sense of what Warforged are made of is going to send her into a spiral, which is exactly what I want for this character. So I commend you 100%. Either way you want to go.
You know who I would compare Langley a little bit to? If any of you have played Borderlands, you know Hammerlock?
Yeah.
Yes.
Vaguely.
A little bit like him. Just the bravado and the sort of expedition, it's time to go exploring, lads. It's, It's very much like...
You're wearing a pith helmet. Nothing will change my mind on
No,
this.
he is wearing a top hat. It literally a
pith helmet.
stovepipe. No, you gotta hear me out. Literally a stovepipe hat, and because he has all these extra additions, he has to vent steam out of it. So he actually, like, bellows steam out of the stovepipe hat. It is literally a stovepipe.
Galarian wheezing is also very good.
That's... Oh my god, that's what he is, Galarian wheezing on his head is... That's how it works. Okay.
Oh, blimey, I got the Galarian wheezing.
No, yeah, I'm really excited for this now, because I finally know which one I'm playing. And I'm very excited for his interactions with Claire on the Warforged thing, and I'm just excited for his interaction with everyone just because he's this, like, bombastic, like... I like to imagine that he doesn't have much of a self-preservation instinct. He's just, like, always 100 full tilt towards adventure all the time. Because that's what he was built to be. He's built to explore, and he's built to build.
It's like Seahawk from She-Ra.
Yeah.
Adventure!
Basically.
And set our boat on fire.
He's not going to set a boat on fire. I do have...
should.
Yeah, no, I do have a drawing of him somewhere, and I will bring it back when I eventually remember where it is. But
I do have
no.
a... Oh, sorry, Dan.
You first.
I do have a little interesting tidbit of why I named her Claire. So I named her Claire because of the song Claire de Lune, which means Claire of the Moon. She's from the moon. Yeah. So, Claire officially does not have a last name, being Warforged, but that was my reasoning there.
Fair. Why can't I create a... Oh, and you know what? I didn't use the D&D Beyond link. My bad.
Oh, is that... Do you not have access to Warforged without it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you would have to send me the campaign link.
I sent it in... I did send it at some point.
Yeah, it was sent somewhere.
It's...
Because I know I used it.
Yeah, it's... Is it in the TFE
It's
chat?
in the task force chat.
Yeah. It's in the back chat.
I would need... someone send me the link to that when you get the chance, please.
Hold on a second. I'll do it. Okay. So we have a 2 artificers, a wizard, and a druid.
Good balance. Me and Jay are playing the same class, but not really again.
I think it's that one.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, that should be it.
Are you at some point halfway through the campaign going to forget that we are playing the same class again? Because we play them so differently?
Probably.
That was still one of my favorite TFU moments of Dan just like, where are we gonna find another level 11 cleric?
That was, I think, me being sarcastic, but...
It may have been, but it was still very funny.
Alright, I am so ready to make this. Okay, why can't I get Warforged, though?
Hold on.
Yeah, I'm just gonna create, because I'm gonna delete the old character and then create a new character in the campaign file.
Oh, make sure you have, you might have to click. Yeah, I have
Create a
Eberron shared.
character.
You might have to click, like Eberron content or something like that.
Yeah, no, it is indeed. I clicked Eberron content.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I got it. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Okay. Okay, so we have characters, and obviously, you all can hammer out the details you want and need. Background, spells. You're all spellcasters again.
To be fair, Navira only had one spell.
Yes.
Smite.
Smite.
2 spells.
It wasn't even really a spell.
Yeah.
2,
Oh,
2
yeah, you
spells.
also used
Revivify
inflict-
was very useful.
And you used inflict wounds a couple times. You kicked someone in the nuts to inflict their wounds.
Oh man, that was classic.
Inflict groin injury.
Inflict
Yeah,
permanent
Mira
lack
had-
of children.
Mira had 2 spells: Divine Smite, Kick Nuts.
Yep.
Inflict ending bloodline.
But
Yeah, that one's really funny.
the 2 of you who played full casters last time are now playing half casters, and the 2 of you who didn't play full casters are now playing full casters.
Oh.
Whoa.
So,
Wow,
Wow.
it's flippy flopped.
it is flippy flopped.
Also, we have a really smart party, like 3 intelligence-based casters.
So in terms of finding things, we're going to be really good at it. But in terms of last time, when we could just automatically lie detect things...
We should talk a little. So I'm like picking skills and stuff. Is anyone gonna pick like social skills?
I put 8 in charisma, so you can take that.
I have a not. I think I have an 8 too.
How about you, Isabel?
Yep, got big ol' 8.
Well, she was...
11 charisma, so...
As a union man, I think he has justification to at least take persuasion.
yeah, I actually did pick up persuasion, because Isabel isn't necessarily like a talking person, but she can skirt by a lot on her nobility.
Fair enough. Okay, so you know what? That stuff we can work out later, though. So I'll do like fillers for now. And I'm gonna have be proficient in cartographer's tools because I feel like that's probably a good idea to have cartographer's tools.
What? No, we'll never get lost on the uncharted, like, wild planet. It's the worst that could happen.
I picked the Outlander background again, so
Cool,
Oh,
we can
that's
make
good.
Maps
That's useful.
together. It'll be great.
You can find food.
yeah.
Yeah, for the 2 small people who eat.
What are you talking
Oh, that's
about? I
true.
can do just fine with my +0 survival.
Oh boy,
Where's my DMG? DMG.
Got a whole 4 in that.
I got a +1, so not totally screwed.
Yeah.
Also, I have a plus an 11 armor class. So
Yeah, I'm gonna have a
15.
really good armor class. Like
Artificers have surprisingly good armor class and can make it better.
So what is like the old ancient language? Like, would that be primordial?
The ancient language here.
Yes,
Yeah,
because Titans.
but they're closer to Great Old Ones, so it's deep actually.
I don't know if my Warforged would know these.
It would be very uncommon for anyone to like cults know deep speech, and even then, it's all pieced together because the new gods kind of eradicate a lot of stuff about the Titans.
I'm gonna go with Dwarvish.
Dwarvish is a good
Andy, what would you?
solid language. Mhm.
Yeah, what would you say are the like preeminent languages for Wyan Yoth and the places we'll be going?
Common for sure. Everyone will speak common. Celestial is like the holy language of religions. Another common language would be Dwarvish. Elvish less so. There are less and less. There aren't like a crap ton of elves. Let me look at the thingy real fast. Dwarves, dragons now.
Where are my goblin speakers at?
Goblin.
Just me?
There are lots of goblins. And because of how I've kind of structured this, some of the language, like Gnomish and Halflish, are basically just dialects of Dwarvish, and same thing with Goblin and Orcish. They're very similar. So it's like they're like romance languages, like Spanish and Italian. You can kind of figure it out if you know one or the other. Like, yeah, like
Even then, I think in like Forgotten Realms, I think it's Gnomish. Actually, Gnomish might have its own script, but I know Orcish Goblin all use the
I'll use the
Dwarven alphabet,
Mhm.
Dwarven script. So there's definitely like some divergence in language that goes back to a common one between all of those.
Yeah, Thunder Gauntlets. Each of the armor's gauntlets counts as a simple melee weapon while you aren't holding anything in it, and it deals 1d8 thunder damage on hit. I'm assuming that's plus strength or plus intelligence. I think artificers get plus intelligence. A creature hit
Artificers
by
for
the
intelligence, unless it says otherwise.
yeah, artificers get a lot of cool stuff. I love them. A creature hit by the gauntlet has disadvantage on attack rolls against targets other than you until the start of the next turn, as the armor magically emits a distracting pulse when the creature attacks someone else. So I am very much a tank. It's, the more diplomatic term for meat shield.
I mean, given that Claire is kind of a glass cannon, have at it, my friends.
Awesome.
I gave myself 12 dexterity just so I wasn't completely fucked, but
Yeah, I'm dumping dexterity again.
Dexterity
I
was
mean,
my second. Actually, no, dexterity was my first.
I have a very respectable 10 in
I
dexterity.
have proficiency in heavy armor.
so fireball this party. Is what I'm hearing.
No, because someone lost her wizard levels.
yeah, once we hit level... What level do we get fifth level spells? Or third level?
You get third level spells at 5th level.
At fifth
Very
level. Yeah, so once we
confusing.
hit fifth level, it's just counterspell, baby.
Yeah.
I've survived 2 levels until then, but that'll be fine.
I have
It'll
shield.
be
I'll be
alright,
fine.
yeah.
Just have to
I got
use
mage
all
armor.
of my spell slots on reactions. Always. All 3 of my spell slots.
Okay. So let me open this real fast.
I had an idea of using the lightning lure, but when he uses it, like his arms extend like Mr. Fantastic.
Neat. Do it.
I don't
Your
know.
spells. Flavor them
I
however the
don't
hell
know
you
if-
want.
I don't know if
Actually,
Annie
with
would allow
artificer spells.
crazy extendo arms.
If you're doing it magically and you don't then be like, well, because of lightning lore, I have magic extendo arms. Yeah, you can do it magically.
Fair enough.
Okay, let me see. I had a question for you.
Oh, I forgot to give my character a name.
You didn't do that.
Correct.
Would you like to give your
No.
character a name?
You don't
Or
have to.
are you the druid with no name?
No, her name is Wynne, Wynne, Pillwickin.
Adorable.
I love gnome names so much.
Okay. Okay, hold on, let me...
I feel like
Right.
a rope of climbing would be useful.
Normal gnome, hill gnome, deep gnome. Flavor of gnome.
Don't do the bubblegum flavored. No, nobody likes those.
No.
No. Well, it's weird to have something bubblegum flavored that might actually swallow. It's not right.
Oh, I can get enchanted defense? That seems busted.
Oh yeah. Let me go look up
26 AC again.
what Emissary's AC was, because it was like 21 at level 5.
Hey, Andy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hey, Andy.
Emissary at level 6 had an AC of 20.
Andy. Hey, Andy.
Uh-huh.
You're gonna be real strong.
I'm just gonna fireball you now. Like, that's... You don't have the paladin to protect you anymore.
True, we don't.
And
I feel
spend
like
the reaction to make my
poison-
AC 20, though, so...
I do feel like this one is going to be a little harder. I don't know why. It's just a hunch I have.
Okay, so speaking go ahead.
I did try to make it easier, but everyone was like, no, we got to establish a base.
We did this to ourselves and we'll reap the consequences.
Look, the entire point of Session Zero streams is to just hand Andy knives.
Yeah.
That's all we're doing right now.
Here's the gun. Here's the bullets to load it. I'm going to go paint a target on my back.
Okay, so let me ask some kind of general questions, and then we're going to work out some more backstory stuff. So speaking of making it hard,
Isn't there a pill for that?
You went there.
I did.
They went there.
Twitch is going to shut this stream down if we keep going there.
I'm sorry. Someone just put a ball up on a tee for me and told me not to hit it. What do you think I'm gonna do?
Mac that son of a bitch.
Right.
Okay. So, I was looking at some rules to make this a little to make the exploration and such feel a little more dangerous, and obviously you all feel free to say no. But
No.
okay. So
I was given permission.
no. So I was basically thinking, when you are outside of base, like when you don't have a quote unquote bed to sleep in, rests aren't as effective. So, when you're out in the wild, if you take an 8-hour rest, you don't automatically heal all of your hit points back. You have to spend hit dice. It's like a short rest mechanically. Other stuff would reset, but while in the wild, and you would regain half your level in hit dice, so you could basically spend half your level in hit dice for free. And that would only be when you are exploring. If you're in a bed, it's comfortable, it's nice, you're dry, you're good.
Would that mechanically work with me and Dan, though? Because there are some built-in like sleep mechanics for. Why did I just suddenly forget the name of the class?
Warforged?
Or the
Warforged.
There
Yeah,
we
you
go.
don't
have to
take
recharge. Is the thing.
Warforged.
Technically, we do. Yeah, but it's
your
only
long
6
rest
hours.
isn't long. I think it's 4. I think it works like sort of like the Elven Trance thing.
Yeah, it's
Mind.
just sitting there for 6 hours.
Let's see.
Emissary features and traits. That's
Sentry's Rest.
artificer stuff.
I find it annoying that I
Sentry's
don't
Rest.
get
Yeah,
shield.
it's 6 hours.
So yeah, functionally,
You don't get shield.
No, it's super weird.
I got shield.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
You got shield?
I got shield. Maybe it's because we have different subclasses. We get slightly different
Artillerists
spell
maybe
lists.
get shield.
I mean, I am all for having a cat put on our, or a mechanic put on our sleep in Worldwise. I just want to add some flavor for the characters that technically don't sleep.
That
Sure.
makes sense to. Well, what I can do is like I literally Warforged Doctor. That's like his thing. So he'll be able to repair both Claire and himself and keep us running, but he probably would need like a full workshop back at the base to complete all the repairs. It's very different from like jury rigging and maintaining on the road.
Yeah,
it's
like-
very different from like, the full 1,000-mile tune-up or whatever.
So it's more like a
difference
wear
between
and tear thing
Field
rather than like a.
repairs and
Yeah.
actual
Field
like
repairs.
rebuilds and repairs. Because Isabel's going to be able to do some repair too. Probably going to default more to the person who specializes in it, but if a pinch and if something were to happen, don't split the party. We're going to split eventually.
Marty is suggesting some kind of charge station, and
Up.
Hold on.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Number 2.
There it goes.
Hold on.
Discord hates charging stations. It's good to see you.
You were saying about charging stations.
I do really think the idea of having just like a battery pack that they carry around. Like, I don't think functionally that would work, but to me it's a very funny imagery of like they keep this like wheelie suitcase solar powered battery to power the 2 Warforged.
The Warforged are able to power themselves because of their like innate magic, but I like they have to still rest and recharge, and I like the idea that there are field repairs you can't do on the road.
Yeah.
But also we could carry like maybe like just it's like for extra juice they carry around the battery pack.
It's just like those shitty little extra battery charge things for your phone.
I was also thinking like in Futurama when the robots get high, they like zap themselves.
That entire episode of Bender with magnets stuck to his forehead.
That was bizarre. That episode was insane. Anyways, hi. If you are a robot, you know, is using juice, stop it.
But if you are a robot, please keep drinking.
So sorry. What do you think about limiting rests in the wild? Again,
I like the idea.
Feel free to say no.
Yeah, I like it. It's gonna be slightly inconvenient because we can't just click the do a short rest button, but if it's for a more interesting, fun game, then it's for a more interesting, fun game.
Right. I didn't think about that. I'll have to see. Maybe because it's in. I think it's in the Dungeon Master's Guide. I'll have to see if maybe there is. I doubt it.
There is a gritty realism rules where a short rest is 8 hours and a long rest is 1 week.
That's basically
Oh.
sort of what I'm going off of. But
the only thing I don't like about that is it makes
that one's too much. That's why I was like, it's only part of the short rest. It's the not hit points part.
Okay with a version of that, but we get our spells back.
Well, that's basically what this is. It's you're getting your spells and abilities back on rest.
You're getting your spells and abilities back, but you don't necessarily get the HP back because you're not as comfortable as you would be at like a camp, a proper camp, or an inn or something.
Yeah. But if like one of you eventually gets like Liam's tiny hut or like the Insta Castle, that would help. Like that's a nice permanent, semi-permanent structure that you could make nicer. You're dry, you're comfortable. You're not going to be worried that a bear is going to eat you or a dinosaur that shoots other dinosaurs out of its.
I wasn't worried to begin with. High five, Claire.
Wait a minute.
Zombie T-Rex full of zombies.
Yeah. I think the coolest thing in Tomb of Annihilation is the
zombie T-Rex full of zombies.
Full of zombies. I think that's rad, but
that fucks.
Yeah. And it vomit zombies at you. Like
that's
it's
amazing.
Ridiculous and awesome.
Yes.
Now you guys might fight that at some point.
Oh no.
Andy, I say if we don't fight that at some point, I'm gonna be mad.
Okay, good.
Like same, but oh no.
Not right now. It's probably like CR12 or something.
Oh, there's a lot of possibility for us in this campaign to pick fights that we can't handle yet.
That's... Yeah, I think this will be... I am certainly going to...
We're going to have to get used to it's okay to run away.
Yes, I'm going to try and run this differently than I ran Task Force Unlikely. I'm going for a different feel, and it seems like we're all, I think, on the same page about
I want to punish you
Yeah.
because Task Force Unlikely was one of the most difficult to kill parties ever. And I need to get some payback.
That is not. I just it is. That was pure heroic fantasy. Like, no, you're all saving the world constantly. This is inherently more survival greed based, like, because you're working for a company trying to get resources. It's going to have a different feel. Not that you're not going to be heroic in a way. You're going to do this stuff and still be cool, awesome adventurers.
Yeah,
But
like, at the end of the day, the planet does need these resources
Mm-hmm.
we're going after. We're just doing it at the behest of a probably evil corporation.
yeah, but you're ultimately what you're gonna watch your family starve or not have medical supplies? Like, no, of course not. You just have to figure out how to do it ethically for Jeff Bezos.
Hey, kill my boss.
Bezos.
Episode 1, kill boss.
I know he died in a horrible gunshot accident.
I was cleaning my arm and it accidentally discharged.
Seems believable.
In his face 3 times.
He had it coming.
Oh, and the entire board of directors just spontaneously died somehow.
They all caught fire, because I was also cleaning my turret at the same time, and it wandered off with the flamethrower going off.
I was cleaning my
I
wildfire
lost
druid,
control of it.
and just all of a sudden they just burned to death.
And also, while they were burning, the wealth just redistributed it itself. I didn't know it could do that.
It
Yeah,
just
real
dropped
neat.
the credit card and just boom, everyone's got money now.
Also, the collective has seized the means of production. These things happen, you know?
Yeah. I am really excited for this one, guys.
Same.
Okay.
This is going to be great.
Look, I'll be honest with you. I was leaning towards Clangly to begin with.
Is it because
I've
he has
had
an
the idea-
excellent name?
Yes, partially. Sorry, what were you going to say?
I have had the idea for Claire for several months now. I started thinking about her right as TFU was starting to come to a close. And when Andy said steampunk fantasy, I was like, oh, I am there.
I mean, one of my other ideas was another Warforged, but Andy let me do dog-headed robot simi recently, so I didn't want to do it again this soon.
Hey, I am excited, guys. I already said that shit.
Well, you can still be excited. You are allowed.
Yeah, I would prefer it. You can't buy enthusiasm.
I got in spades.
Okay, so let me let's do, is there anything y'all don't want to see? Lines or veils? I think now is a good time to mention if, for instance, you don't like snakes or spiders, to the extent that they can't appear on a stream, because this will be a place full of monsters. So, but yeah, anything you don't want to see, content-wise, or yeah, anything like that.
I kind of already mentioned, like, character-wise what I don't want to see, just at least personally for my character. And if we could keep that out just in general, I think that would be great, too.
Sure.
Yeah,
Just
a lot
human.
of the same.
Yeah, we are, like, clearly, you know.
It's like, part of it with Isabel is I am kind of writing a disability line, and I need to be careful with that. Probably gonna fuck it up at some point. Bop me on the head when I do, please, but I'll try not to.
Yeah, just given the fact that this is, like, a steampunk thing and there are going to be, like, cool physical augmentations, you know, we can't fall into the cyberpunk trap of, oh, these people are less human
Oh,
because
yeah,
they
that.
have Our
Yeah,
cyber
your grandfather was a pacemaker. Guess what? Less human.
Yeah.
How does it make you feel? It's like, shut up.
My mother-in-law has
Shut up.
fake knees. That doesn't make her not a person.
Yeah, like, I have a fucking pin in my knee. Like, that doesn't make me a cyborg, or does it?
It's like,
Well,
I
might make
need
you a cyborg.
glass to see.
What? You should learn to see better.
I see the best, which is I'm the one person that doesn't wear glasses here. So, well, doesn't wear glasses yet.
Marty in chat says, "You're not less human. You're a radder robot." Yeah. Okay. We will do our best to avoid all of those things. And yeah, if we mess up, that's okay. We're all people. People mess up. But we will do our best. We will do our best to learn and move forward.
Feel free to let us know we're gonna not be one of those people that doubles down and tries to tell you no, we're right because of justification.
I promise not to get incredibly mad on Twitter. This time.
Is there any other way to be on Twitter?
That's why I'm not on Twitter anymore.
Depends what you're mad about, because some things are worth being mad about.
But probably not Star Wars.
No, not Star Wars. Star Wars is not something worth being mad about. People trying to take other people's human rights, definitely worth being mad about. Star Wars, no.
Okay.
Quick, someone steal Marty's Twitter.
He also uses it so much. Okay. So, moving past that, past the kind of.
I never asked for this. Blah blah blah.
No, the game kind of overview feel kind of stuff. Let's talk a little bit more about lore. So, we all have characters now. Let's talk about who hired you. What kind of company are you guys thinking? Or, kind of along the lines of what we've been talking about.
I like to think that my envision was like Klangly was built and or hired by basically a very much like frontier kind of building, mining, exploring. Like, we need to get the resources from point A to point B. They send down a bunch of Warforged to clear out areas and build up bases, and then they, thanks, Warforged. Bye. Not great people. I guess they would just make them build new stuff. Obviously, there's, Warforged get paid, but it's kind of a weird situation because they are built by their company. I don't know if that crosses too much into the territory that you're not comfortable with, Mira.
I mean, it can be like kind of a thing where like in the world, the Warforged aren't treated with the same level of humanity as everyone else, but like they still have it,
Well, they clearly have it. There's no question as to whether.
But because they don't have the same like physical necessities by nature, everyone just kind of dismisses them as grunts, I guess. It's like, oh, they can work continuously and they don't need as much rest and they don't need food, so they're cheap labor kind of. And that's kind of where the injustice comes from.
And Klangly, because he's the one who fixes them when they actually do break down and when they actually do need things that a lot of people turn a blind eye to. That's kind of an important part of his character for me. But I want to make sure that doesn't step on any toes.
I think that would be an interesting thing to explore.
Also, Marty had an interesting question about Claire in chat, if you got that open.
If not, I can read it.
Does Claire volunteer? She scooped into service because it's assumed this must be what she... I was actually, thinking that she's just kind of swept into it because she has not been conscious for very long. She hasn't been alive for very long, so I would imagine that she's just kind of wandering the streets in Wyan Yoth, just cute, just like going through all these memories that she can't really decide are hers or not, and then like someone just like literally just sweeps her up.
Part of me is like Clangley mistakes her for a crew member, and it's just like it keeps cutting her off, and is like, no time to waste.
I think that she was absolutely the kind of character who would just kind of get like swept up in all of Clangley's enthusiasm, where she's just like, yeah, okay, I'm dealing with the crisis right now, but I can go along with whatever it is you're doing.
Yeah, because that would be something to hold on to. Like
Yeah.
a tangible event.
It's like, I'm just going to anchor myself to whatever this guy's doing so that I don't
He
completely...
seems to know what he's about.
I don't know what he's about. I don't know if it's great, but, you know.
It's something, which is better than what I had.
I had another idea. What if one of your last memories is like, I need to go down to this planet and see if there's something that can extend my life or something like that? Like, you know that your creator went down to the planet, but you're not sure, like, why or when or...
I want to keep the kind of where the original Necromancer went very much a mystery, especially because Claire would not know that. Literally, like, her entire essence is who this Necromancer was up until the point that she was created. It's like a save point. Just, all right. Like, Claire's existence is the save point of this Necromancer. And she was inactive for 2 years until this Necromancer was disappeared, and then she just kind of woke up, and now, like, she kind of knows that, like, because she has all the memories of essentially being created, which is just another layer in the existential spiral.
Like, did you watch yourself being built?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that is surreal.
When you said Soma, I kind of knew where you were going, but like
Yeah,
you're going all in on it.
It is very much of like just imagine like those videos of what's his name from Big Hero 6?
Baymax?
Baymax, of Baymax being created, like the little videos of like, that's essentially like, except you're seeing it from the Necromancer's point of view, so like just being assembled.
Weird.
And like even almost like being turned on and coming into existence, she remembers that. She like remembers the moment of transference, and that's kind of also fucking her up a little bit. Also, I very much... Oh, go ahead, Dan.
I like that she knows she's a copy. I like that about her character.
I don't think there would be as much like existential weirdness if she didn't, because then she would just think that she was this Necromancer. But no, she has all of the memories of what it took to create her, how the process happened, the magic involved, and yeah, so, you know, she's the opposite of humans of like, they'll never really know how they were created. No, she knows. And it is messing her up.
So
also, my
Claire's
idea
like,
for what... Oh, go ahead, Dan.
So Claire is like functionally the same age as the Necromancer when she created the Claire like +2.
Yes, plus the 2 years that she's been kind of wandering around.
I was curious how long ago were Warforged created, because I'm putting an age now.
How long ago? Hold on. It's super recent.
Yeah, my kind of reasoning for it was that the Necromancer saw the creation of the Warforged, and she got very interested in that, and so she used that for her own research of life extension and immortality.
Warforged were first created about 20 years ago. I can make that shorter. if you will.
I'm going to say
like.
Clangly is 18.
But they became more like the first Warforged would have been like, look at this marvel of science and magic, and it would have been like, one Warforged, and then, as they're like, well, we can we can build a bunch of them and send them to the planet, so then production would ramp up. And also Warforged is is technically like a copywritten name. It's like Kleenex. So everyone calls them Warforged, but only some of them are technically Warforged.
I like to imagine that Clangly was like, oh no, he's an actual Warforged in one of the earlier ones, but once he gained the self-awareness, he kind of like kept upgrading himself. So now he's like this kind of marvel of engineering, but also he's running on like kind of old software, so to speak. Like he keeps having to update himself. Those upgrades, they ain't cheap. That's part of the reason Clangly wants to, part of the reason Clangly's still working with the corporation. Oh, that's sinister. Oh, I just created something very sinister. Oh, planned obsolescence to keep them in this. Oh no. Oh no. That's so evil.
Wow.
That's so insanely evil.
Do we want to do that then? They're people.
Kind of,
they are people. As established, they're people.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of it being planned obsolescence, but like it's an obsolescence, but it's not intentional, and it kind of ended up falling on the Warforged themselves to compensate for it.
It would be like the natural aging of humans.
Exactly.
I would think.
And then,
of getting older.
Yeah, your joints.
Protecting your body.
Yeah, your joints start to go.
The one who,
your memory goes.
That's his character. He's like trying to turn back the clock and make sure all these Warforged stay up to date.
Yeah,
and he knows people are counting on him, because if he doesn't do his thing, okay, what happens to the Warforged?
That could tie into your background as a Warforged doctor, because if we're thinking of in terms of like why Warforged are kind of ignored, is like people think that Warforged are invincible, but really they have this obsolescence that is like the aging of the human body, but everyone just ignores it. So then you have Clangly, who's a doctor who specializes in these things and making sure that Warforged get the care that they need.
Exactly.
Also, my idea for what Claire looks like think like 18th century automaton, like the ones that were kind of shown off theatrically.
Ooh.
So yeah, she was made to be not necessarily like functional, but kind of pretty, like to be looked at.
Lots of porcelain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Langley is like, he looks like the Iron Giant, basically. He's not at all. He's very clearly a Warforged.
Okay.
Sorry, what did you say your character's name was, Liz?
Win.
Win. Got it. What is the name of the corporation that created Warforged?
Hopefully not Win.
No.
I think it was no. I'm thinking the one that's sending us down is Greene.
Oh, I have a different name. I have a different year for them up here. Created in 1870. Yeah, it was 20 years ago. Let's see. I don't have them listed as a. So who would you all like it to be? It can be the Greene Corporation, who is. I don't want to say it's Amazon, but it's Amazon. It's Amazon and Tesla put together, basically.
You said the dwarves were like ultra industrialist.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like the idea of it being like a dwarven corporation. I don't know why.
Is it because you like dwarves?
I do like dwarves a lot. Although this is basically giving Andy fuel to have a dwarf antagonist show up in my backstory at some point.
Acne.
It's the opposite of Tarbeck.
Kerbot.
Yeah, I was trying to do that. Kerbot Cold Forge. It could just be the Warforged Corporation.
I would imagine they just adopted the name once they had this amazing product. Warforged Corporation by the Greene Corporation.
Well, the Greene Corporation will probably try and buy them at some point.
It's like Audible.
The
Whole
Warforged
Foods.
Company.
Yep.
Part of the Greene family of corporations.
Yeah, the company I work for is owned by like 2 other companies.
To pick a background.
Also, by me, there's now an Amazon Fresh, and why does Amazon have 2 different food stores? Anyway.
Because Amazon is too big to know what Amazon is doing.
Yeah. Okay. So, you all work for the Greene Corporation. Is that good?
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to think that Claire is not an official employee, but just kind of was made one.
Or okay, I was
like,
you pulled a Kramer. You just started working somewhere. Just like, I don't have any records on you. I don't care.
He put me on a spaceship, and now I've been given jobs to do. Okay.
Would fixing a Warforged be medicine or tinker's tools?
Forget. I think it's Smith's tools.
Either way,
Harvest depends.
I would have proficiency in it, so I will not take medicine because it wouldn't make sense.
I mean, if you know how people also work, but
True. I might take.
You're probably not. Trying to think. I don't know how.
You're probably not trained to think. Andy, 2K21.
Wait, what? No. There was like 4 sentences that all just ran together. I know. I'm trying to think if Warforged would be like Data from Star Trek, where his inside looks like it's all digital and synthetic, but he has like robot organs basically that mimic what they would do in a person. I don't think that's quite. That doesn't quite fit steampunky Warforged.
No,
they probably
I don't
have
think
different
that's
stuff. So
fitting
Whatever-
to this setting.
yeah.
Whatever the conventional thing, I know that Kleinley has modded himself to hell and back.
Well, I just meant if it was similar to a person, you might be able to then be like, oh, well, he knows medicine because he knows. Well, the robot spleen is supposed to do this, and that's what a person's spleen would do.
I'm gonna say he does not have medicine.
So, but
Claire does, so you're good.
Oh, cool.
Yay! Someone can put Isabel and Wynn's fleshy hides back together.
Yeah, she has medicine and an herbalism kit, and my justification for that is that the necromancer was kind of a doctor who went a little bit rogue.
Sure.
I can tell Claire and Klangler are gonna get along very well.
What was the race of the necromancer? I don't remember if you said that.
She was human.
Human. Okay.
Yeah, just straight human.
Marty has given me a name. That's very good, so I will write that down.
Wehrmacht automation reason. Do you want? Are you sure you want to use that one?
Yeah. I'll use it for something.
Yeah, because it spells Warforged.
Oh, I see.
WAR forges.
No, I'm just like specifically the term Wehrmacht.
Yeah, let me search that real quick and see if that's.
It's the Nazi army. That was the Wehrmacht.
Oh.
Yep, that was going to be my question.
Oh, I'm sure Marty didn't mean to do that, but
No, I know he didn't.
Also a word in German, or with how German works, mashing of two words. But yep, that was something that was used. Let's not use that.
Abort.
Oh
back
yeah,
up.
it literally it's
It is
literally German
armed
for army. So okay, I like the idea, Marty. We'll fix it. We'll not use that one.
We'll try to find a different word that starts with W.
Yeah. Because at first I thought you were talking about like the Weimar, and I was like, no, that was Weimar, not Wehrmacht, but no, it was. I see. Okay. Okay.
This is not our first. Oh, that needs a new name. It probably won't be our last.
No. Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, I often just put things into Google Translate, and then if. Sorry. Okay. We're getting to the end. So. Slight homework for everybody. Obviously, create your character. Finish your character sheet.
Done.
Think about how you were hired and who, like, specifically at the company hired you and why. And if that's, they found you and just kind of, you were then pushed into a line of intern Warforged or something. And now you're getting coffee for the boss and you're like, I don't know what's happening.
Drink
That's
coffee,
great.
I'm mechanical.
But in the first episode, we were going to role play through those bits. So,
Well, how much else is prosthesis a thing so far? Like with the emergent Warforged technology, because
I imagine it's got to be pretty far along if Warforged are a thing.
Could be like the auto mill system in Fullmetal Alchemist.
It's not necessarily how much is the technology, but where is that in the idea of integrating that into prosthesis kind of culturally?
I think
someone has to have not only like built the technology, but had the idea of using it for that purpose.
This is steampunk. There are probably industrial accidents.
Well, for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Where do you want to put your flag in that? Do you want it to be developed? Is that something you want Issa to kind of be at the forefront of?
Kind of. I like that not necessarily the forefront, but maybe a little further than most, because prosthesis isn't actually her speciality. Firearms is.
Right.
Literally.
Firearms. So maybe a bit further along than most, enough to kind of where she gets her attention, because she's also integrating that with other technologies that are her specialty.
Okay. Yeah, because my thought is kind of, if, you know, it's perhaps not even that people haven't tried, it's that they can't figure out how to just get the arm to work. They can make the whole robot, because then you can put all the important parts you need all throughout it. They can't find a good power source or something that fits in the arm to make it move. So certainly people have prosthetic limbs, but do they function like fully roboticized limbs? Maybe not yet, and that's something that she can help work on.
Or if it's the idea of they have it working as just prosthesis, but then augmenting that prosthetics as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because that's really, I think, the most obvious hook for Isabel in getting into her working with a Warforged-based company.
Okay.
Because the other thing is, she just showed up. She was trying to get somewhere else, and she got herself to the place where that place used to be.
Right.
So she's also kind of an outsider in this society.
Okay. Is there anything else anyone would like to say, add, clarify, declare? before we
If
wrap
I-
this up? Okay. Obviously, if anyone has any questions, message me, message the Discord. But otherwise, we will begin in 2 weeks with episode 1. We need to maybe think of a name if it's not just Gracefall, which is perfectly fine. But if you all want a party name, a la Task Force Unlikely or the Star Chasers,
We'll get one eventually, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of
It's
us
gotta
will
come
think of something
organically.
or say something dumb.
okay. Outros and plugs. Dan.
Hi, I'm Dan. You can catch me at Twitter. I
If
love
you can, catch him. He is lightning fast.
Oh.
I love it. Also, I'm in another campaign that's coming to an end, actually. Soon. Well, not yet. It's probably a spoiler, actually. Don't listen to this.
You check out the campaign.
Yeah. Horrible D&D time. It used to be horrible Barovia time, but then we left Barovia.
That does kind of objectively make it a horrible Barovia time, though.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Looks around at all the green trees and blue skies. This is not like Barovia at all.
Horrible. Simply
No, I just
Horrible.
did that character. We don't need to do it again.
Liz.
Hi, I'm Liz. You can also, I guess, find me on Twitter. I don't use it that much, but I use it to reblog or retweet whatever we're doing here. I forgot to do it tonight. Oh well.
Jay.
Hi, I'm Jay, and after today I will fade and be invisible. Because not only is it International Non-Binary Week, today is Non-Binary Day of Visibility, so look at me now. Because you aren't going to be able to. I'm going to be invisible.
Ooh.
Oof.
Make things difficult.
Yep. You're just going to have a chair
you're
that
on.
sometimes moves and is empty and a floating headset. Be real
That actually
hard to
sounds
read.
pretty rad.
Well, it'll be real hard to read some expressions, or if I want to do a visual gag, that'll make it hard.
Mira.
Hi, I'm Mira. You will not find me on Twitter. Don't. Because I'm no longer on Twitter. I will be spending today honoring my friend Jay as well as all of my other non-binary friends and siblings whom I love very much. You can find me on Instagram. I post art there sometimes. Most of the times it's just, like right now I'm really busy, so it's just stupid doodles on my stories sometimes. If you like those, ooh, and I might do Art of Claire. Maybe, no promises though.
Excellent. As always, echo and repeat all of these wonderful and talented people. Star Chasers next Wednesday. Join us back here in 2 weeks for the first episode, which I am terribly excited for. Be safe, be kind, and yeah, that's it. Play D&D or another role-playing game with your friends. It's great. And have a great night, everybody.